Yankees, Dodgers, Mets, Braves, Astros. Not necessarily in that order, but those five, and there's a big separation there. Would you agree, or are those the five teams? Or do you think anyone else is kind of close to that mix, and maybe you would consider, maybe the odds are not right that they should be closer to those five teams?
I think the elite teams are there for a reason. Frankly, I think the Mets are a little too overvalued here. I think that we're getting out of hand with the plus 700. We just got the Jacob deGrom news. We've talked about this before on the show, but this is a team that was number one in contact rate. They were revolutionizing baseball. They were playing buck ball. That's what they were calling it here in New York. They were putting balls through the shifts. People were ringing my door. And, the bottom line was that they were winning baseball games in an unconventional way because they were just getting runners on base via soft contact. They weren't hitting a lot of home runs. And that ran contrast to what we saw for most of the year. Then they went in this big slump. And I really don't know what their identity is anymore. Like they're just not making the contact the way that they did at the start of the season. And, theoretically, yes, their team, their roster, it makes sense. They have good players. Starling Marte is good. Jacob deGrom, that news that we got, if he's not going to be back, I don't know if we can say that. Look, I think the Mets are good. I think that they have talent. And I think they'll go out and get someone at the trade deadline. But to say that they're in a better position than the Braves, frankly, to say that they're in a better position than the Blue Jays, I know that, they're plus 1,500 because they're probably not going to win the division. But, I mean, the Blue Jays roster is just as good as the Mets. I mean, aside from the fact that they probably don't have two of the top 10 players or pitchers in baseball. I'm rambling here, but the bottom line for me is that I think there is way too much. deGrom comes back and they have an unbelievable rotation baked into this line, as is, the first 2 months of the season. I just think that we're seeing a team that's struggling a little bit more. And I am curious to see, given the up and down nature of the last 2 months, whether or not a team that just does not hit for power and does not hit a lot of home runs can keep it up and do this for the whole season, because that is just not what the Mets forte has been.